I want to have a conversation with you guys on mentorship and coaching and how to really get the most out of mentorship and coaching. So whether you are in a program of mine, you're a current client of mine, you are wanting to work with me in the future, or maybe you're getting some type of support, I want to have a deep conversation of what it actually means to get coached by someone who is where you want to be. And I'm going to use the example of how I am currently getting support postpartum with my midwives and my doulas, and how that can relate to you and getting support when it comes to binge eating, emotional eating, overeating, and healing your relationship with food. So working with these midwives and working with these doulas, they of course have preferences and they have suggestions of what to actually do postpartum. Okay, you're going to take these supplements for the baby. The baby's going to take this supplements. This is how you're going to feed the baby. This is certain exercises that you're going to do for your baby. We're seeing a chiropractor as well too for our newborn. And there's so many things, right? Take a bath. Do these exercises every single day. Take these supplements. Make sure you're hydrated. Make sure you do this. Make sure you do that. Oh, for the baby, make sure to do this as well too. And there's a bunch of different things. It doesn't really matter what the things are, but there's a lot of things that they are recommending. And it is really easy when you are getting support from somebody to feel like I need to do everything. It's really easy for you to feel like I need to do exactly what they say or else I'm going to fail. I need to put what they're saying I need to do on a pedestal because they're the experts, they know what they're doing, and I have to shut down my intuition and I have to do exactly what they say. If they say I need to do 7 things in a day, then I have to do all 7 things, and I can't do 6 things. I can't do the 5 things. I have to do all 7 things. And this is where you become overwhelmed. This is where you put a coach or a mentor on a pedestal. This is where you shut down your intuition, you shut down your inner guidance system, and you just turn to other people for answers. Now, of course, are there people who are where you want to be or who have more advanced knowledge, perhaps, in a particular area that maybe you don't? Absolutely. This is why we hire coaches. This is why we hire mentors, right? So if you're struggling with your relationship with food, of course, you're going to look for someone who has a healthy relationship with food, someone who has past lived experience with binge eating, emotional eating, who can guide you because they've walked the path that you're now on. And this is why, I'm getting support, with the midwives and the doulas postpartum, because I've never done this before and they're the experts. So of course you're going to look to them for answers. Of course you're going to want to get feedback and guidance from them. But what I often see is people will put certain types of mentors and coaches on a pedestal, and then you no longer have the ability to tune into your intuition, to still listen to see what works best for you. And so right now, even though my midwives and my doulas are recommending certain things, I always still filter things through my own lens, and I have discernment to say, this is for me and this is not for me. I'm going to implement this and I'm not going to implement that. And this is really important. I tell my clients this all the time. There are certain recommendations that I'm going to make to my clients. I recommend, let's say meditation and breath work. I recommend certain nervous system regulation techniques. There are certain tools that will help you to not give into your urges. There are certain things that you can do to process your emotions. For example, setting timers throughout the day to actually ask yourself how you're feeling. What do you need right now to help you process through your emotions? Those are just some examples. But I tell my clients all the time, these are specific tools, but you still need to see what works best for you. I tell my clients all the time, you got to give yourself grace and self-compassion, and you need tough love. But my clients need to have the discernment to say, what season am I in right now? Do I need more tough love, or do I need more grace and self-compassion? There are certain clients that I might coach that I say, hey, you got to give yourself some tough love. You're not using the tools, so you're automatically just giving into your urges. Well, nothing's going to change if nothing's going to change. So you have to give yourself the tough love and lean into the discomfort. And there's other clients that I'm like, you are trying to do 9 million different things. You don't need to give yourself tough love. You actually need to give yourself more grace and self-compassion. The why this is so important is because everybody is different. And this is where the discernment piece comes in. Just because I share something doesn't mean you got to put that thing on a pedestal. Lorna says to do this and I have to do this. And if I don't do this, then I'm failing. You still have to filter it through your own lens to say, does this work for me? How does it work for me? One client, again, I might give them one type of coaching, and another client, I might say to do the complete opposite depending on where they're at in their journey. So somebody who's been working with me, let's say for a year plus, they might not have, binge in months, but maybe they're still working through overeating, and maybe they've gotten complacent with utilizing some of the tools. So the coaching that I'm going to give that one person is going to be completely different than somebody who's maybe brand spanking new, who's only been working with me maybe for a month. They might not have gotten complacent. They're like, Lorna, I need to start using the tools. Like, I'm having a hard time even using the tools. And so this is where the discernment comes in. I might give coaching to person one who's been with me for a year, but that person who's a little bit newer has to say, okay, Lorna's giving coaching to that person. I can maybe hear what she's saying, but this is actually what I need right now. I can't even think about binge-free months. Like, I just need to practice not giving into my next urge. So having discernment when working with a mentor and coach is really, really, really important. This is why even if I share with you like what I eat and how I work out, it's not Lorna does this, now I have to eat like this. Lorna works out this way, I have to work out like this. It's not putting your coach and your mentor on a pedestal while simultaneously learning from them because they have knowledge in an area that you might not have as much knowledge in. Right? So even, when I was working on my relationship with food and I worked with a coach and I worked with a mentor, I learned from her, but I still had discernment and I still needed to filter things through my own lens to say, I don't really think that's going to work for me. But that doesn't mean that she's wrong and I'm right, or she's right and I'm wrong. It just means that I was listening to my intuition. So for example, let's say you've heard someone say, give yourself unconditional permission to eat all foods. And a part of your brain is like, yes, makes complete sense because I don't want to have certain foods that I'm still judging myself for eating. I don't want to have foods that I feel like, nope, I can't eat those foods. So, okay, that logically makes sense. But at the same time, I don't want to be eating certain foods. Like I had one of my clients, she's like, Lorna, when I go to a social event and there's like a bowl of chips, she's like, I'm kind of turned off by that. I honestly want to just come home and have like dates with almond butter. That's what I actually prefer. And so if she heard somebody say, give yourself unconditional permission to eat, she filtered it through her own lens and said, that doesn't work for me. I don't want to just be eating whatever I want. I want to be eating high quality foods. I actually really care about what I put in my body. And so she filtered that through her own lens and said, I don't want to be that person that goes to a social event and just eats whatever is there. I want to feel good. And honestly, a bowl of chips kind of turns me off. So I'm going to come home and I'm going to have something that I actually enjoy. But someone who isn't having that discernment might say, oh, well, apparently I have to give myself permission to eat what I want or unconditional permission to eat. So, okay, I'm allowed to have the chips even though I don't really want them. And then make themselves feel like crap. You still need to have a filter. You still need to tune into your intuition. Having a coach and a mentor doesn't mean everything that they say I must do. I used to be that way. When I first hired coaches and mentors, I've had coaches and mentors my whole life, like literally my whole life. And I used to put them on a pedestal. They know something that I don't know. They have the answers and I don't. There's a magical solution that they know, and I need to learn this magical solution from them. And that's not a very good place to be at, because you lose sight of your intuition. The first time I ever hired coaches and mentors, I swear to God, whatever they said, I'm like, whatever you say, I'm going to do. And there were certain strategies that didn't feel right for me. Like whether it was in business coaching or health coaching, relationship with food coaching, there's certain things that they would say and I would do them because I'm like, well, they're the experts and they're telling me to do this. And I would do it and it just didn't feel right. Even this whole let's say unconditional permission to eat thing. I'm like, but that doesn't work for me. I don't want to just be eating whatever I want, because at the time I also had, certain gut issues that I wanted to work through. So I said to myself, that doesn't work for me. I can't just go to the restaurant and actually order whatever it is that I want, because maybe that might work for some people, but for me, I actually need to be mindful based off of my gut health. So instead of saying this person who's the expert said to do this, and then I tried to do that and then it feeling wrong in my body, I said, what she's saying is true and it might work for this person, but for me, I need to filter it through my own lens and say, actually, I don't want that. I remember there was also when I had the coach, she was telling certain people to take time off of working out because of their unhealthy relationship with exercise. And again, for some people, that is what they needed. But for me, I'm like, you're never going to see me doing that. Movement is something that I enjoy. I love it. It's supportive for my mental health. So again, I didn't say, oh, she said that to one person, now I have to do that. It's like, what's still going to be best for me? So having a coach and a mentor does not mean put them on a pedestal and do whatever you want or do whatever they say. And if, God forbid, you don't do exactly what they say, then you're failing. There are so many things that my midwives and doulas have suggested. And there's some things I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And then there's other things I'm like, wow, that's really helpful. It doesn't mean that the things that didn't align with me doesn't mean that they're wrong. It just means it might not be right for me. And I tell my clients this all the time. There are certain things that I might say in trainings, and you're like, Lorna, pure gold, and you implement it, and you're like, this is incredible. And there also might be certain tools that I recommend, and you're like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Even something as simple as, let's say meditation, and you're like, yeah, no, that's not for me. A certain type of meditation might be for you. So you might not like silence and meditating in silence, but you're like, I like a guided meditation. I like a walking meditation. I like meditating when I'm in the shower. And so it's still taking what I say, but figuring out what works for you. It's not cookie cutter. It's not Lorna said this and I have to do it even though it feels wrong in my body. You still have to see what feels best for my body. This is so important. I was having a conversation even with my clients in the academy about this. One of my clients, she's like, sometimes I know exactly what you're going to say, but I just need to have you say it because I feel like I kind of need permission. And there's nothing wrong with that, but we also had a very high level conversation. And I said, you don't need my permission. You got to trust yourself. Yes, I'm here to guide you, but sometimes I'm not going to tell you, do this. I'm going to say, what do you think you should do? Because again, hiring a coach and a mentor is not about silencing your own intuition and just taking on whatever a mentor says. It's not, I don't know what I should do, so I'm going to wait until the coaching call, and I'm going to wait until Lorna tells me what to do, because Lorna has all the answers and I need to make sure I need to do exactly what she says. I'm going to have a conversation with Lorna. I'm going to ask her, like, what are your thoughts on this? But it's not whatever Lorna says, I got to do perfectly. And if I don't do it perfectly, oh my gosh, I failed. It's not, I'm going to wait until our coaching call to get coaching from Lorna to then figure out what to do. It's, I'm going to tune into my body and then I'm going to make a decision. So whether it's, should I go to the bakery or should I not? Should I bake these cookies or should I not? Even one of my clients was like, I have a Friendsgiving and I don't know if I should go because there's so many things. I'm kind of overwhelmed. I kind of don't want to go, but then I also know that it's important to be social and maybe it might make me feel better. And I said, I can't tell you that. You have to tune into your intuition and say, what should I do? So a coach and a mentor can guide you. I give my clients all the tools that they need to conquer binge eating, but then they take what they're learning and say, that is not going to work for me. This is going to work for me. They still tune into their intuition. It's not about putting a coach and a mentor on a pedestal. They know everything. Lorna, what's the magical answer? It's such a slippery slope, and I used to do that. With every coach and mentor, I swear to God, whatever they said, like even business coaching, man, in like 2018, they would tell me like, do these sales calls. So like I would get on calls with people for like 45 or 60 minutes to tell them about my program. And it felt so off. I'm like, I'm not here to convince anyone to join my program. I'm not going to spend 45 minutes or 60 minutes trying to convince you to work with me. Like it didn't feel right. I'm like, I just want to have a conversation in my DMs. And, if you feel the pull to work with me, if you're like, Lorna, I'm listening to your podcast, I'm listening to your Instagram, your Facebook, what you say completely resonates with me. I want to work with you. That felt better for me. I hated doing sales calls. And I feel like if I hated them, then the people on the other side probably hated them as well too. But that's what my mentor told me to do. So I did it. And it felt so wrong in my body. I got so anxious every single time before doing that because it wasn't for me. And so that's when I felt like I didn't have an intuition and I was just putting all these coaches and mentors on a pedestal. I'm like, they know what to do. They're the experts. Just do it. Even if it doesn't feel right in your body, just do it. But then I started having more clarity with my intuition. I started focusing on alignment. I started focusing on what's going to be best for me. And for me, I just wanted to have people come in my DMs and like I said, Lorna, I want to work with you. Or they message me a word, membership, Conquer Academy, and then I share the details. And if they want to come in, they come in. That's what felt better for me. And was it scary listening to my intuition when this quote unquote expert was telling me to do something and I was kind of going against it? Was that kind of scary? Yes. But it also felt so right in my body. And my business skyrocketed the moment that I tuned into my intuition. And this is not about don't hire coaches and mentors. I've had a coach and mentor my whole life. But I still filter things through my own lens. Whether it's the business coach that I have, whether it's health coaches that I worked with in the past, or when I was working on my relationship with food, it was still, this is the information that you're presenting to me, and I'm going to see how it lands for me, because alignment is everything. Alignment is everything. Tuning into your intuition is everything. If something feels off in your body, it's not going to work. Like if you told me, Lorna, just eat whatever you want, I'd be like, no, I tried that. I heard people say like food freedom, eat whatever you want. And I tried that and I felt lethargic. I felt heavy. I felt bloated. And I'm like, there has to be a better way. And so that's when I stopped doing food freedom. And I coined my own term of freedom of choice. And I said, I don't want to be eating whatever I want. I care about my health. And so I created freedom of choice to say, I'm going to eat the foods that make me feel my best, while also, so saying no to foods that don't serve me without feeling restricted, and then also allowing myself to eat the foods that I want without going overboard. That's what worked for me. So even like I said with these midwives and the doulas that like do these stretches, take these supplements, and yes, I'm listening to them because they're the experts. Okay, I ask them, hey, what do you think about this? But even when somebody recommends something to me, I don't just automatically say, okay, I'm going to do it. I ask them, okay, like why are you recommending that? Okay, how does it feel for my body? And then I take on what feels good and I say no to things that don't feel good. And it's the greatest thing that I've ever done for myself. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is you don't have to do it all. So just even the example of like what the midwives and the doulas are telling me, like I said, there's literally 1,000,001 things. Well, there's only so much time in a day. Like there are certain, tongue exercises they recommended that we do. There's certain head exercises they recommend for our baby. Certain things I have to do. Okay, take a bath every single day. Take your supplements, like I said. And if you feel like I need to do all 20 things, you're going to feel overwhelmed and you're going to feel burnt out. This is the all or nothing mentality, the perfectionist mindset. I say to myself, I'm only one human and there's only so much time in a day. So if I don't do these 3 things, but I get at least these 2 things done, I'm winning. And same with my clients. Even inside of the Root and Rewire membership, there's the Badass Daily 6, and there's 6 things that I recommend my clients do every single day to become less impulsive with food, to regulate their nervous system, and to easily not give in to their urges and feel like a badass while doing so. There's 6 things. And I remember one of my clients coming up and she's like, I feel so bad if I don't do all 6. Like, what if I do 3? Like, what if I can't do all 6? That is okay. This is not about being perfect. 1% better every single day. Doing even just 1 out of the 6 is going to help you become less impulsive. Doing 2 things, doing 3, doing 4, doing 5 is perfect. But again, if you're thinking, Lorna says to do all 6 things, I have to do all 6 things, and then you don't do 6, you do 5, you feel like you failed. But you didn't fail. You did 5 things to help you become less impulsive, which is incredible. Just like for me, I might not do all the things every single day. I don't want to burn myself out. It's doing the best that you can. Even Andrew says to me, like, you're doing the best that you can. This is not about, feeling overwhelmed. It's you're one human being. So don't get into the all or nothing mentality where it's like, I have to, like, even with your habits and routines, I have to do my morning routine, and then I have to go for my walk, and then I have to drink so much water, and then I need protein and vegetables at every meal, and then I need to go to bed at 8 o'clock, and then I need to do my meditation, and then I need to do 5 minutes of breath work. You're going to burn yourself out. It's actually not better to do more. Sometimes doing more makes you feel overwhelmed, and then that creates more stress in the body, and then you're emotionally eating late at night. Again, discernment, intuition, tune into your body. It is okay if there are 6 things that I recommend and you do 5, you do 3. Even one day, you're like, all I can do is 1 of them. Perfect. And then maybe the next day you're like, I'm going to implement all 6 things. Fantastic. It's not that you were better on the day that you did 6 things and you're horrible on the day that you did 1 thing. It's just maybe different days you had different time. There are certain days where I have time to do a 20, 30-minute bath. And then there's other days where I prioritize maybe going for a walk, especially when maybe you're limited on time. You have to say, okay, maybe I don't have 30 minutes to do a breathwork session. 5 minutes will do. But how does that land for you? Are you okay with that? Just like, doing a workout. Just because you don't have 60 minutes to do a workout and you do 40 minutes doesn't mean don't do the workout because you only have 40 minutes. It's I have 40 minutes and that's better than doing nothing. I have only 10 minutes to eat my lunch. So Lorna says, tune into my senses. Lorna says, put my fork and utensils down. Lorna says maybe do some breathing before eating. Okay, well, maybe that's not going to work for me because I literally only have 10 minutes. So I'm just going to maybe choose one of the things. That's still going to be supportive than saying, well, I can't do everything that Lorna says, so I'm going to do none of it. That's not supportive. So I tell my clients this all the time. There are so many tools that I can share with you to help you become less impulsive, not give in to your urges. There's tools on how to stop thinking about food. There's tools on how to stop eating when you're full. There's tools on how to process your emotions. There's tools on how to eat what you're craving without spiraling out of control. But you don't have to do them all. And also, filter what works for you. I was sharing on one of my trainings, I did a program, it's called Permission to Just Be. And this is all about healing your relationship with rest, which ultimately helps you stop your mindless snacking. Because when you have an unhealthy relationship with rest and you're go, 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 go all day, you feel like you can't relax. And so when you have 20 minutes to yourself, you just eat because you don't know how to be with yourself. So that was a program that I ran in a few months ago. And I was sharing with my clients that I don't have a to-do list. It doesn't work for me. And one of my clients says, okay, I know that you don't have a to-do list, but I feel like I need to have a to-do list. That's fine. Again, just because I do something doesn't mean that you all of a sudden have to do it. If I say that I don't have a to-do list because it doesn't work for me, but you're like, a to-do list is, I need a to-do list. Perfect. If I say that I don't cook every single day, I cook maybe 2 times per week in bulk, that's what works for me and my family, doesn't mean you have to do that. If I say I like larger meals less frequently throughout the day, but you're like, but I like 5 smaller meals, perfect. If I say I work out at 5 or 6 in the morning, and you're like, you would never see me doing that, doesn't mean you have to do that. Even if somebody is where you want to be. It's really easy to look at someone and say, they have what I want. So what are they eating? How are they working out? What time do they go to bed? What time do they work out? What time do they wake up? It's not about that. The reason why it works for that person is because they found what works for them. So let's say, for example, let's just say I go to bed at 8:30. I obviously don't now, because with a newborn, you don't go to bed at a certain time. But let's say I went to bed at 8:30. And you're like, okay, Lorna goes to bed at 8:30. I have to go to bed at 8:30. And it doesn't work for you. You're going to feel like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? I should be able to go to bed at 8:30. But it's not 8:30's on a pedestal. That's just what works for that one person. Same with working out. If somebody says they work out at 6 in the morning, it's not 6 in the morning workouts are going to get you better results than 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. or late at night. It's not the time. It's that person who works out at 6 a.m. They found what works best for them. You'll never see me do a workout at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. I'm a grandma. I go to bed. But that doesn't mean you have to work out in the morning. If I say I like drinking bone broth, doesn't mean you need to start drinking bone broth. So yes, learn from coaches and mentors. This is why, people hire me. Because it's like, Lorna, I see you so healthy and happy and you feel amazing in your own skin and you've overcome binge eating. I want to learn from you. And I still tell my clients, still tune into your intuition. Still, even if I say something on a training, you still have to filter it through your own lens to say, does this work for me? Or how can I tweak it so that it works better for me? Just because you're working with a coach or a mentor and they're telling you to do something, you still need to filter it through your own lens. And when there are 15 recommendations, you don't have to do all 15. When there's 20 tools that you're learning to help you become less impulsive or not give in to your urges, you might only do 2 of them, and that is perfect. It's not about the all or nothing mentality. It's not, I have to do it all or else I'm failing. You're one human. I've given myself so much grace with, recommendations that my doula and my midwife have given me. It's like I've took some, and I've also been like, no, I'm not doing that. And there's also so many things that everyone's recommending to me, and I'm like, well, I only have so much time in a day, so I'm only going to get 2 things done today, and I'm okay with that, and you have to be okay with that. I have really strengthened my intuition, and it took some time. I remember I didn't feel like I could trust myself. I didn't feel like I had an intuition, and so I would look to other people for answers. But it's not about they have the answer, they know everything, and I don't. It's they know something, and I'm going to learn from them. But I still have answers within me as well, too. I help you find the answers within you. It's not like I'm broken, I need to hire Lorna to come fix me. You're not broken. I'm going to share my knowledge with you. But you still have a beautiful intuition that says that's going to work for me or that's not going to work for me. When you don't trust yourself, you look to other people for answers. And I used to do that. Like I said, when I first hired coaches and mentors, I didn't trust myself. So I'm like, okay, what are the best workouts? Okay, how should I eat? Okay, but should I bake tonight? Nobody can tell you that. Nobody can tell you that except for yourself. And sometimes it's trial and error to be like, well, I'm going to try to see. When you don't trust yourself, when you don't feel like I can trust my intuition, you look to other people for answers. Tell me what to do. Tell me how to eat. Tell me how to work out. Because I don't know. And there might be some things that you don't know. Like I didn't know how to not give in to my urges. I needed to learn from a mentor and a coach. But then once I learned those tools, again, discernment, okay, these are the 5 tools that worked for me. These 3 tools I'm not going to use. That's okay. So people hire me, people come to work with me to learn, obviously, how to heal their relationship with food and stop binge eating. And I'll teach you all of the tools. But when my clients come to work with me, I always tell them, still listen to your intuition. One of my clients is very stressed out with work. So the coaching that I give her is very different, than someone else who's a stay-at-home or maybe isn't working right now. I was going to say a stay-at-home mom, but that's also just doing 25 jobs at once. But let's say someone who isn't working now and they have more freed up time, they might be able to get more done than someone who's really busy with work. So it's filtering things through your own lens. If you have IBS, if you have digestive issues, that's going to be different than someone who might not have those issues, who are also healing their relationship with food. And this is why mentorship and coaching is so beneficial, because even if I share something in a training or a podcast and you all of a sudden are like, take it on, but how do you know that that's for you? There are some people who are like, Lorna, you mentioned this on a podcast. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't recommend that for you. And this is why people come and join my coaching, because I share with you, hey, based off of your situation, this tool is actually going to be more beneficial for you. Actually, no, you don't need to give yourself grace. You got to give yourself a kick in the butt. You need some tough love. Actually, for you, you got to pull more on gentle nutrition. Like everybody's going to be different. And this is where having a coach and mentor to be there is so important. So it's learning from them while not putting them on a pedestal. It's learning the tools from them while also having discernment of what works best for me. I've strengthened my intuition over the years, and it's been the greatest gift that I've given myself. I used to think I didn't have an intuition, and it wasn't that I didn't have an intuition. It's I felt like I couldn't trust myself, so I looked to everybody else for answers. And then, of course, you feel like you don't have an intuition because you never tap into it. You never ask yourself. I share this often, but I remember when I used to live with my parents, I've shared this story a few times. It's like I would open up the fridge and I'd see what I wanted in the fridge. And I would ask my mom, what should I have for lunch? She's like, what do you feel like? I'm like, I don't know, what do you think? I knew what I wanted. But I didn't trust myself to go and have it, because what if I go and have it and then I spiral into a binge? What if I go and have it and then I overeat? What if I go and have it and it makes me feel like crap? Then like I'm going to blame myself. So I'd rather ask somebody else, because if they tell me what I should eat and then I feel like crap, I can just blame them. So I didn't feel like I had an intuition because I never checked in with myself. I didn't feel like I trusted myself. So let me ask this person, what do you think? Let me ask this person, what do you think? Let me ask Andrew, what do you think? And Andrew used to tell me all the time, he's like, I don't know. Or I would say, Andrew, option 1 or option 2? And he would say option 2. And I'm like, okay, but I want to do option 1. And then he's like, you already know the answers. Yeah, but I don't trust myself, so I needed a second opinion. Work with coaches and mentors who are further along than you, because they have something that you don't have right now. And that's not like put yourself down. There are certain tools that you're going to have to learn. People have lived experience of things that you've gone through, and man, you can collapse the amount of time that it takes for you to stop binge eating when you actually work with someone who's been in your shoes. But still, tune into your body, tune into your intuition. The recipe of that, having a coach and mentor plus listening to your intuition, will change your life. Man, this is gold. So I wanted to share that with you because I was sitting in the bathtub the other day and I was like, there's so many things that everybody wants me to do right now. And it feels like a lot, and I don't have to do everything. And I don't have to do everything perfectly. If I get 2 things done that they recommend out of 5 things, that's totally okay. And same with you when you're healing your relationship with food. If I tell you there are 6 things to do every single day to help you become less impulsive and you do 5, you're winning. If you get 2 things done in a day, you're winning. If you can't do 30 minutes of something, you can only do 5 minutes, you're winning. Stop putting things on a pedestal. Stop putting tools on a pedestal. Stop saying I failed because I didn't do all 6 things and I succeeded because I did all 6 things. Give yourself grace and self-compassion. And know that you're not meant to do it all. Know that you're not broken. You don't need answers outside of you. Support and guidance isn't, I don't know, like I'm broken, I need someone to fix me. I'm not here to fix you. You're not broken. I'm here to guide you. And there's a difference of that. So this is a conversation on mentorship and coaching. I hope you guys found this helpful. And by the way, if you found this helpful, I'd love for you to just send me a message on my Instagram and say, hey, I've listened to this on mentorship and coaching, and like it was really good to hear. I'd love for you to just message me and let me know how this landed for you. This is years and years and years of working with coaches and mentors and going from whatever you say I'm going to do to then listening to my intuition and still working with coaches and mentors because I love it. I love learning personal development. I love growing. I love stepping into the greatest version of myself. I love working with people who are further along than where I'm at because that collapses the amount of time that it takes for me to get there. But I still have an intuition. I still focus on attuning to my body. What's the word that I'm looking for? Not authenticity. Alignment. I still figure out what's in alignment for me, and it's all perfect. So thank you for being here. If this was helpful, if something landed for you, feel free to message me. I'd love to know your biggest takeaways from this training. But go and implement this. Still, have support. It's the greatest thing you can give yourself. I've always had mentors and coaches, like I said, in every area. My business, I have a business coach, and with health, I've had a coach, and my relationship with food, it's why I'm binge free. It's why my business is successful, because I work with people who are further along than me. And I also tune into my intuition. So when you do a combination of that, man, oh man, it's going to change your life. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.